Hi, my name is Leah Day and welcome to this video for the Free Motion Quilting Project. Today we're learning a new design called Blazing Spiral, and it's basically what happens when you take a spiral and you think about flames. So that's what I'm going to start with, and let's get on the machine and see how it works. So here's my little 4-inch square, and I'm just going to work into a spiral thinking about flames. So I'm going to make a kind of a long wiggly line, come to a point, wiggle on down, and this is an open spiral, so I want to go on ahead and make sure I'm leaving some space to get out of this shape. I'm going to come in, just continuing with those soft curves and sharp points. I get to the center and now I start working my way back out again, and as I work my way back out again, I'm stitching right through the middle of the lines that I left open. And that's something that's worked for a lot of my students whenever I describe it that way. You leave space and then you stitch through it right through the middle to get back out. I have this little gap here, so I'm going to go on ahead and fill that in with just simply internal echoes. Just come down to a point, travel stitch, and fill it again. There's no right or wrong way to fill those little weird areas. You're going to end up with those. That just happens. I'm going to come up and give this one more echo as I wiggle over here to fill up this shape. You're going to have a lot of odd spaces around the edges of your quilt. You're just going to have to figure out the best way of dealing with them. So let's form another spiral right here. I'm going to wiggle up, come to a point, and I'm going to start working my way inside. And this is one of those designs that I certainly couldn't have stitched 5 years ago. Spirals gave me fits when I first started free motion quilting. So this might be something that you want to mark or play with drawing in order to kind of get into it and get the hang of it. It is definitely a spiral, but because of the long points and the flames, this might either feel easier or harder for you. It just depends on how your brain works. It depends on how natural this feels to you. Don't hesitate to get really wiggly and funky with these. I think the more they kind of bend and flow into one another, the better they look. You kind of change directions here and flow this one this way. And what I generally do with this kind of a design is I'm going to generally kind of work it from left to right. I'm now going to try and just kind of work my way into this corner and then stitch down and match back up over here. I don't really want to stitch myself into a corner. I don't want to get locked in at any particular place. Practice as far as, stitching without getting too locked in comes with time and being able to see where you're going and plan out where your next move is. I can't really describe it any better way than that. You just have to sit down and stitch and get lost a few times in it. You have to lock yourself into the quilting design a little bit in order to figure your way back out of it. But I've personally found that working in rows, particularly from left to right and right to left, really can help with this and make it a lot easier and a lot less confusing. So here I think I'm going to branch out one right to the corner, and I'll leave that space open. I can always work back into it and fill it in later. There's no pressure to fill everything all at once. I can always work back in there. Definitely pay attention to the speed my machine is running. You can hear it's kind of just a steady, gentle speed, and that's because my hands aren't changing their speed really drastically. I'm kind of maintaining a general medium speed with everything. Now I'm going to work into here. You see I left that space open. I can just wiggle right in there and fill it up with these echoes. Just evenly spacing these lines. And you can see how I got a little further apart right here. I have places that are a little closer together. That adds to the design. I think it makes it more interesting. So don't get too obsessive with your echoes being perfect if they aren't perfect yet. This is a good design to start with because it's going to help you kind of master that, and also it's still going to look good even if it's not just exactly right. So now I just fill in one more right here, fill that little space with internal echoes, and then start working this way. So you can see this just flows together, each one kind of locking into the next with that very gentle, flaming, blazing spiral shape. So that's it for Blazing Spiral. I really love this flowing, interlocking design. It's just so beautiful how it fills the space, and it's such a subtle texture. It's one of those things I think would be beautiful for the background of a quilt. It could go over the entire surface of a quilt if you wanted to do kind of an all-over fill over the surface of a quilt. There's many, many uses for this design. If you'd like to learn this design on a bigger scale, on like a bed quilting scale, I did teach this design in the Craftsy class Free Motion Fillers Volume 1. And we worked on a little throw quilt. So it was a really good project for learning fills on a bigger scale. So if you're interested in that, check below the video. You'll find a discount link so you can get the class 50% off, and you can learn 50 big giant bed fills. So I think that you'd really like that class if that's what you're wanting to do. Now do keep in mind, spirals especially are one of those designs that take a little bit of practice in order to get the hang of. I certainly could not have stitched this 5 years ago when I was first starting the Free Motion Quilting Project. Spirals were a real struggle for me, and I just couldn't see my way into it and see my way out of it, if that makes any sense. It took more practice, it took more visualization, space estimation, which is basically just being able to see your space and see how things lock together. That comes with time, it comes with practice. And I'll tell you, the thing that helped me out more than anything else was drawing. Drawing and doodling, using those little kind of wasted moments of the day, like standing in the line at the grocery store. I'm not getting anything done there, so I started carrying a pencil and a notebook, and use that time, any of those, kind of waiting moments of the day, to draw and doodle. And I saw an enormous difference in my quilting ability and my visualization ability as I started to draw more. So I really encourage you to try that. If you haven't already, pick up pen and paper. It can't hurt. It's just paper. You're not wasting anything, and you're certainly not wasting your time. But you might end up finding that you can visualize these designs better, and that you increase your skill even when you're off the machine. So my name is Leah Day, and this has been a video for the Free Motion Quilting Project. Find hundreds of beautiful free motion quilting designs at freemotionproject.com. Also, check out leahday.com, where you'll find tools and supplies for free motion quilting on your home sewing machine. Until next time, let's go quilt.